Hey, it's Cris Chico, and in this video I'm going to share with you the most obnoxious postcard that you have ever seen, and most importantly, why it works so well to generate motivated sellers. I'm going to show you and walk you through this template. However, I'm going to tell you the story of how it came about that this thing was created. So let me take you to the beginning of the story. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of a field trip right now. I'm going to take you to where it all started with the blind copy postcard. Let's go. We are here where it all started. Alright, so we're here. Let me show you. Alright, so you see, it's that place. Back there. Can you, where is it? Ah, right there. It's my UPS store. What happened is that I was going and doing direct mail here in the South Florida area. And every week I would come in to pick up my mail, my return mail. They really can't tell the difference between the different postcards. And I didn't know this, but there were a couple of real estate investors also in that same UPS store. These people started to put their postcards in my return mail. And I'm sure they kind of mixed everybody's together, but I was sending out the most volume, so I assumed they just said, hey, it's all his stuff, just put it in there, right? Because who's gonna sort through hundreds and hundreds of postcards each and every single week trying to figure things out? So as they were doing that, I started to flip through my postcards and I'm like, oh, wait a second, that's not mine, but it looks very close to mine. Like almost exactly, but the font's a little bit off. And what it was is that I had people that were using my postcards mailing to the same area. When I looked at the phone number and I called the phone number, and the voice on the phone number was me, because I think that they had bought my course. So I said to myself, well, gee, how am I gonna get deals? How am I gonna be different if everybody's sending out the same postcard? And that's when things started for me in terms of trying to figure out how to create a better postcard. So I started to think about, what can I say in the postcard that's gonna make the seller think, oh, you know what, I gotta call this guy. And I kept on thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and I couldn't come up with anything. And I said the best thing would be if somehow I could picture everybody's postcards, you know, being on the kitchen table and the seller's trying to decide, you know, what to do. How could I get them to pick up my postcard first and go to that next step? And I started to think about it, and I said, well, if they could at least hear my voice, if they could at least hear my voice and my tonality explaining what I could do for them, that would make it better. At least I'd be one step ahead of everybody else. And that's when the idea came to me is, hey, forget about focusing on trying to get them to say yes to selling me their house. It's too early in the process. I said, you know what I gotta do is, all I gotta do is worry about that next step. And the next step is for them to just simply pick up the phone and dial that number. And I knew that when they dialed that number, I got them. It was like fishing, like as if I was putting a lure out and then I just want a nibble. And as soon as I got a nibble, man, I got you. And that's what happened. I came up with that postcard and I said, I gotta just not tell them anything. I just gotta put the postcard, make it so that they just feel so compelled to call and to figure out what the heck is going on. At that point, now that places me above everybody else, because now as soon as they grab that postcard and they are looking at that postcard, now I'm above everybody else on that pile. And that's how I came up with the blind copy postcard. I mean, that thing is insane. There's nobody else has a postcard that produces that kind of result. And that's how the blind copy postcard came about at my UPS store. So now that you've heard the story, let me just take you and show you what this is all about. So this is what's called a blind copy postcard. Now the reason it's called blind copy is because it doesn't tell the seller what the nature of this is. Now it's being sent to a targeted list, and so we know that there's potential there for those sellers to want to do a deal with us, but really the only way for them to figure out what this is about is for them to call the phone number. Now I've blurred out the details here because this is an actual scan of a postcard that was sent, but if you can see, it says property notification, and it's meant to look like an official notice. It's meant to really get somebody's attention, to somebody say, what is this? There's a couple things that increase their response rate. Number one is obviously it's blind. Number two is that it has something up at the top that looks somewhat official, like it came from some sort of official entity. Next, you notice there it says owner name, property address, and all that information is merged in there from the list. So now it has their pertinent information. It also, at the same time, if you notice, it says we urgently need need to speak with you about your property at. That part that's blurred out is also their address. The message is really designed to intrigue them, to get them to say, you know what, I gotta figure out what this is about. Now this is the front section of the card. You'll notice here now I blurred out again the address where this was sent to. It says the same thing up at the top, property notification. It says urgent, do not discard this notice, and then it asks them to please turn the card over for important message. But it's designed to get them to flip back to this side and to see this particular part of the postcard. And I don't care what you've sent out in the past, there's no other postcard in the world that produces a higher response rate than this particular postcard. And there you have it. Now this postcard is great to send out to very specific lists. Number one, if you had a tax delinquent list, a vacant property list, a general absentee owner list. Now with this postcard, there's going to be 3 buckets of people. Number one is you're going to get people that will leave a message and says, hey, I'm interested, please give me a call. I'd like to see if I can get a cash offer. That's easy. You just call them back and see if you can do a deal with them. The second call is the calls of people that say, you know what, I don't like this card, blah, blah, blah. They are angry. They got nothing better else to do than to blow up your phone. It's important that you send this to a 24-hour recorded message. So I use a service called callrail.com. You send the calls to the 24-hour recorded message. You don't want to send these calls to your cell phone number because it's going to blow up your cell phone. Post office box. That's what I use for my return address, so that's what I would use for that. Now you're going to get people that are just going to be angry. So you're just going to ignore those people. Don't do anything with them. Don't call them back. Just forget about it. Here is going to be the most important part of this postcard. You're going to get a lot of people that are just going to call the message and they're just going to hang up. That's very important because most real estate investors would consider just not even calling those people back. And what we found is that that's where the majority of our amazing deals come from. It's from those people that have hung up the phone and didn't leave a message. And guess what? They're doing the same thing with every other single investor. Why? Because they're not ready just yet. But now we've got their phone number. And guess what? You need to call them up and you need to say, hey, this is Chris. I was returning the call about the property for sale. I missed your call the other day. I was just returning your call. And they might say, you know what? I'm not interested in selling my house, but thank you. And you say, great, no problem. They might say, many times they'll say, you know what? I am interested. However, I didn't want to leave a message. I'm not ready yet. Hey, not a problem. I'm on the phone with you here. Maybe you can just chat with me a little bit about the property and see if there's something that maybe I might be interested in. And then you start the conversation there. Now, this card is great when you have a high quality list like a tax delinquent list that you would want to have every single phone number for that list just because it's a good list. The same thing with a vacant list. And so that's why this card works great because you'd want to call every single person that hits that phone number regardless if they leave a message or not. Now, don't call the angry ones, but everybody else you want to go ahead and call because those are prospects that are likely not talking with any other real estate investor, but you got the phone number and you get them on the phone, and that's why this card is so effective. Now, if you're going to send out a big, large mailing of owner-occupied properties, I wouldn't send this card because you're going to just get a tremendously large number of phone calls. And so for me, this card here is great with absentee owners, tax delinquents, or vacant properties, and that's what I would recommend. This is the blind copy card, and that's what I recommend you send out if you're sending out your direct mail and pick the right list. Hey, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. If you like this video, like the content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and click on the notification bell so YouTube sends you a little signal letting you know, hey, there's a new video there. Give me a thumbs up, make a comment. I will respond to every single comment here, and I look forward